Your emails are landing in spam. Your reps are sending thousands of emails on a daily basis that never get read by anyone, which literally amounts to nothing. You're left spraying and praying, sending thousands of emails in your campaigns that really amount to nothing. Now that's because you don't have a proper email infrastructure and deliverability set up in place. So in this video, I'm going to teach you the exact step-by-step on how to do this so you have a 10 out of 10 deliverability and you never land in spam ever again. I'm Oriel, I'm the founder of the Conversion Architects, and we build automated go-to-market systems that scale revenue without hiring more reps. Our clients include LiveSwitch, Finley, Turkey Lender, and more. We built over 1,000 clay tables, automated hundreds of processes, and launched thousands of campaigns. I'm going to teach you how to do it step by step in this video. So let's get started. Now, there are different tiers to this, and I made 3 tiers in this guide that I'm going to also link down below in the description. I'm just going to go run through the tier 1 in this video because otherwise it will be like an hour-long video and we don't have time for this. And then you can just follow the guide to go through tier 2 or tier 3 depending on what volume of emails you're actually sending. So the first tier has a risk of 6 out of 10. Last tier is literally no risk at all, like 1 out of 10. It's also the cheapest, so this first tier, right? The first thing you gotta do is buy domains and inboxes. If you're still sending cold emails or launching campaigns from the same domains that your main domain website redirects to, you're literally burning your domains, you're literally burning your inboxes. So you gotta buy new domains and new inboxes that are non-branded. So have nothing to do with your actual website or what you do, whatever, because people don't really care about these, okay? In this first tier, you just buy them from an SMTP provider like MailForge or something like that. And then you just buy as many domains and as many mailboxes that you need. Bearing in mind that we're gonna send a maximum of 15 to 20 emails per inbox, per mailbox, and you can only load up maximum of 2 mailboxes per domain. So you run the math. So if you want to send 500 emails a day, you know you can send maximum 15 or 20 per mailbox, and you need 2 mailboxes per 1 domain. So you know how many domains you're going to buy and then how many mailboxes you're going to buy underneath that. And the other tiers are run through not only buying from an SMTP provider, but also diversifying this, buying 33% of them through Google mailboxes, 33% through Outlook mailboxes, and 33% through SMTP. Just keep everything nice and diversified, because in today's world, sometimes Google puts in a restriction and then your Google mailboxes land in spam, then it's Outlook, then it's SMTP provider. So it's just better to diversify. Once you do this, you gotta set up DNS records. So SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Super important, okay? So to do this, you go into your domain where you got it set up, right? So it's either Squarespace, Google Domains, GoDaddy, anywhere you bought the domains, okay? And even if it's the SMTP provider in this case, they probably do it automatically for you nowadays, but just check just in case. Go here and you add the SPF, which is literally this DNS record, okay? So just Google which one it is in your case, but it's most likely going to look exactly like this, and you go and you do it. So I'm here on my Squarespace and I did it for SPF, and I've got here my SPF DNS record. That's as simple as it is, and you don't need to do anything else here. Awesome. For DMARC then, literally the same thing. You go in there and then you just add the DMARC record, which is super simple like SPF, and it's going to look something like this. And then for SPF is a little bit more complex. You just gotta go to where you have your mailboxes. So in this case, I have it on Google Admin. On the left hand side, Apps, Google Workspace, Gmail. For Outlook, it's gonna be slightly different. And then you go in Gmail, you're gonna be prompted with this. Gotta log in again. Awesome. And once you go to Gmail, it's gonna say authenticate email. You click here and then you're gonna have to generate a new record, okay? So in this case, I've got it already. Once you've got it, you literally paste it here, and there's gonna be 2 that get generated. So you need to do 2 DNS records and make sure they're pasted there. Make sure that the record is in the type it requires. So in this case, it's TXT. So when you add a record, it's gonna ask you what type. So make sure it's a type that's appropriate. I put it here, the type TXT. Host name, exactly this. So host, you paste this here, and then the value, you literally just paste this, for example, for DMARC, the data in this case here, okay? It's gonna look slightly different depending on, you know, what provider you use. If it's GoDaddy, it's gonna look slightly different in that case. So for DKIM, you just get the record from here, paste it there. After like 24 to 48 hours, more or less, like 48 hours, you click here, start authentication, and boom, you got it ready. So it's authenticated. So as SPF, DKIM, DMARC setup for each of them, you gotta do it for each domain that you buy. So if you bought 10 domains, you gotta do it 10 times. Okay, you can check this with MX Toolbox, and you can go here, check domain health, click on your domain and see if it's good or not. and what's left or not. Awesome. Now, these tools, sometimes they're not that accurate. So to actually check that you've got it properly set up, just send yourself an email, and then on the email, for example, this test email, you click here, show original, and then it's gonna show you in here DKIM pass, SPF pass, DMARC pass. Now it means that it's all good for sure. Okay, sometimes this get misconfigured, so you gotta go and check it like this. It's honestly the best way of doing it. Perfect, so we've got this set up. Now a custom tracking domain setup. Okay, so once you have domains and mailboxes, you're gonna upload all the mailboxes into an email sender platform. It's like Instantly, Smartly, or anything like this. And then you're gonna need to add a custom tracking domain setup. That's super simple. For example, if you're using Smartly, there's literally a guide on how to do it. So what is custom tracking domain on Smartly, and do it there. And you just gotta go on each of the domains. So remember, you had 2 mailboxes per domain. So for every 2 mailboxes, you have to go to the actual domain and add this record, which is going to be a CNAME record, host email tracking, value open.slightlytrack.com. That's for Smartly. If you're using Instantly, it's going to be slightly different, but the process is going to be very, very similar. Okay. So in this case, we go here, we add this exactly like it tells us. Host email tracking, you would paste it here, and then value, exactly this, and you literally paste it here, and you click save. Okay. Now you've got it for each of the domain. Do this for each of the domains. Once you go into a platform like Smartly, for example, you're gonna go to email accounts. You're gonna go and add your actual account up here. Super simple. If you're using one of these two, just click and it's just gonna be automatically done. If you're using an SMTP, click here and it's gonna be automatically done. Once you're inside, you're gonna have each of them. And then down here below in general, custom tracking domain, you click here and you're gonna paste exactly this once it's verified. Okay, so you're gonna paste exactly this, HTTP email tracking dot and then your domain. Because you have 2 mailboxes per domain, in this case you would do 2 of the same of the mailboxes. Okay, so in this case, if we did the conversion architects, that'd be HTTP / exactly like it says here, email tracking dot architects.com, and then check status and save. Okay, that means that custom tracking domain is set up. We do this twice per each of the domains that we configure with the DNS now, because we have 2 mailboxes per domain. Okay, now why is this relevant? These are basically like little snippets of code that check if your email has been opened or a link has been clicked. Now, we don't track email opens and we don't track clicks because they hurt deliverability, but we've noticed it's still really good to have them and they do improve deliverability, even if we don't directly use them for like tracking email opens or anything like that. In the email warm-up, which I'm going to go through in a second, we'll also warm up the custom tracking domain link, okay, like Smartly allows us to do. Awesome. So now let's go with the warm-up process. Warming up is basically a process in which you put your mailboxes in kind of a pool of different mailboxes, and then they send automatically emails back and forth to each other, emails that look genuine and normal, such as, let's meet up next Wednesday for a coffee, or like, what do you think of my latest proposal, or whatever. It just sends like random stuff, and then the other mailboxes, they simply open the email and reply to them. Okay, that means that the providers such as Microsoft and Google and so on are gonna see your mailboxes that are just created brand new. They're gonna see they have regular activity and that they make sense, that they're not just spam people from the get-go. Okay, otherwise they just block them and ban them from day one. So we want to kind of quote unquote fool them a little bit, even though obviously they can't really be fooled long term, but short term at least. So our mailboxes can be used for some campaigns before they eventually burn out. Something important to notice, they will eventually burn out. So you gotta have, let's say you want to use 20 domains and 40 mailboxes, so 2 per domain. So 40 mailboxes, you know they're gonna get burned out. So literally just buy double of that. That's what we do lately. So we're just buying double of everything that we need. We keep everything warming up. As soon as one's burned, we swap them quickly, and then we can keep with the campaigns normally and regularly. As soon as the ones that were like a bit damaged get fine again, then we swap them again, and we keep going like that. Okay, if after a few swaps like this you see that the reply rates are literally tanking again, you just gotta delete them and then buy new ones. Okay, that's how it works. How do you know based on the reply rates if your deliverability is tanking or not? Okay, when we see under 1% reply rates on our campaigns, and that is counting out of office emails that are automated, because we would not receive an out of office email unless we land in their primary inbox, we know we've got them burned already. Okay, so you want to see at least 1%. If you have like nothing, absolutely nothing from an inbox when you launch a campaign, you know this is burned. You could pause it, warm it up again, and then relaunch it again. And again, if it still happens, just kill it and then start again with a new one. How do we do this? So on Smartlead, for example, once we have a new one, we literally follow this. So start at 5 emails per day and ramping up by 5 every day. So we click this on, 5 per day, and then we're gonna put this 50 because that's the maximum we're gonna run. And then this is gonna start at 5, and then every day we're gonna change this up a little bit. So this basically randomizes, so it's never like just 5 emails that it gets sent every day like warm up, so it's not so obvious. And then reply rate, as it says here, 32% response reply rate, which mimics like really human interactions. And then we update this and we run this. This is gonna start with 5 warm up emails a day, next day 10, next day 15, next day 20, and each day we gotta change this and adjust it depending on how many we're in. For example, if it's day 2, we're at 10 right now, we're gonna do something like send from 6 to 10. If we're on day 3, which is 15, we're gonna say like send something between 11 and 15, so it's not obvious and it's not all the same. Okay, now once after 10 days basically we reach 50 emails a day, 50 warm-up emails a day, which is 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Then at that time we stop the ramp up. We're gonna be at 50 at that moment, so we put this to around like 44 to 50. Now we keep it like that for a few more days until the whole 2 weeks, 3 weeks of warm-up are complete. The longer you leave it, the better. Obviously at some time you're time constrained, so the minimum you gotta put in there is 14-15 days, okay, before you launch campaigns with these mailboxes. Something cool that Smartlead has as well is like sending warm-up emails only on weekdays, which also mimics the human interaction you'll have with these mailboxes once you launch a campaign. Unless you send cold emails during the weekends as well, then you don't do this option. And before the campaign launch, so once you're ready to launch the campaign, we are going to reduce the warm-up emails to 10 per day. So 10 per day here. Again, now we bring this to about 6 to 10 every day, more or less. And we put this to 100. Okay, why? Because when we launch the campaign, we first gonna ramp up as well the actual cold emails very slowly. So only 5 per day, and then we're gonna send 10 warm-ups, meaning there's gonna be sent 15 total emails that day. 10 of them are gonna be replied. Let's say nobody replies in the first day to our campaign, right? Not even out of office, nothing. At least we're gonna have, more than 60% reply rate, which is good. It's like, okay, people are replying to our emails, like it's good. We're just not spamming people. That's how it's gonna quote unquote fool these big providers. As we ramp up the actual cold emails, so second day we're gonna do 10 cold emails. It's gonna be 20 emails, so 10 warm-up emails and 10 cold emails. Then it's gonna be at least half of them are gonna be all replied in the worst case, so it's gonna be a 50% reply rate. So that's why we do it. Okay, when we launch, we go into the general tab, and then we say messages per day, which are warm-ups not included. We do 5 literally straight away, and then 2 minutes in between each email that gets sent. So it's not like so obvious that we're just sending a lot of emails all the time non-stop. You save this app, the next day you come here, you put 7, save this app, the next day you come here, you put 10, and so on until you reach 15 or 20. Some people send 30. I like to keep it at maximum 20. Okay, so that's how you slowly ramp it up, so it's not so obvious you're just sending cold emails. Okay, in terms of campaign settings, as I said before, you don't want to track email opens or any clicks to avoid spam filters. You want to send plain text only, so no links, no images, nothing like that. And then these are obviously like the settings that Smartlead allows you to do, which is a ratio of like how many new leads do you want to reach out to in the campaigns and how many emails do you want to be dedicated to follow-ups only. So I do a 60-40 ratio in here, and I do match email lead service providers. Okay, so this is something really interesting, which is if you've got Gmail mailboxes, this is gonna go and find automatically which of the prospects that I've added in this campaign have Gmail inboxes. So I'm gonna send from Gmail to Gmail only, which is the best for deliverability now. Now, this is not 100% the best. Like in the next tiers, like in this guide, I've got a different approach, which is like slightly more complex, but even better, which is you now with a lot of providers like Lead Magic, for example, can see, the emails that you find of the prospects, who they're hosted with basically. So you can see this is a Gmail inbox, this is an Outlook inbox, and all that. In this case, you just make just a campaign with just Gmail inboxes sending on that campaign, and you just add the Gmail prospects in that campaign. And then in this case, you don't select this setting on Smartlead, because then it doesn't need to auto match nothing, because it's only Gmail to Gmail. There's no other option. Next thing you want to do as well is syntax your copy. That looks like this. So when you write the copy in the actual, like on Smiley or whatever, you add this symbol and this symbol, and then each of these bars separates each of these pin taxes, which this basically means that this is gonna randomly send hi John or hello John or hey John in different emails. So it's not always the exact same copy. Something more advanced you can do is use AI to just create just completely different first lines for each of the prospects, but that's more advanced. It's gonna keep you even further away from spam, but Spintax is already good enough for this. Now you also want to monitor email health, like I said before. Under 1% reply rates, bad, and then over 3% bounce rates, it's also bad. If you got 3 to 5 over that bounce rates, it means that your list is damaged. Like the list of your prospects that you have is not verified enough. You got the emails but you didn't verify them with like 0 bounce or debounce or another provider or something like that. Okay, so you gotta make sure you clean up your list. So again, high bounce rate means like the list is bad, and then under 1% reply rates means you've got bad deliverability in here. Okay, inbox categorization, you can separate inboxes into 3 categories. So only use inboxes for campaigns that you know will work. Use another set of inboxes or mailboxes for new safe bet campaigns that you've tried something new, but you're pretty sure it's gonna work. And then another set of mailboxes for actual risky campaigns that you don't know if they're gonna work, and you only damage this set of mailboxes if that happens, and you can just buy new ones in that case. This way you don't mix all your mailboxes together in your email infrastructure and it's not a whole mess, right? Something else that I try as well is time zone segmentation, which is if I'm sending emails to people in the US, in Europe, and in Asia, I would just create 3 separate campaigns, even if it's exact same copy, and then send on American times to the American people, European times to the European people, and Asian times to the Asian people. Okay, obviously don't send the same email, like the same time zone to someone from Pakistan or to someone from Japan, because you're gonna be in different time zones. Okay, Asia is quite big. Also add unsubscribe requests. That does not mean that you add a link to unsubscribe. At the bottom of all emails, I always add a PS line that says, PS, if this is not relevant, let me know. I'm not gonna reach out to you again. As soon as someone says, please stop emailing me or whatever, you just add them to the do not contact list ever again. So you are compliant with GDPR and all these laws, and people don't report you and your email infrastructure doesn't get hit like that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The next parts go through the different tiers, so it's pretty much the same, just adding more things like I said before. But just follow this and just step by step follow this guide. I'm gonna attach it down below and you'll see how it really improves your deliverability, and like your campaigns go from literally 1% reply rate to like 4 or 5% reply rates. It's insane how many times I've fixed my deliverability for campaigns with exact same copy, exact same prospects, and the reply rates have actually skyrocketed, and I booked so many more meetings because of this. Now, if you need any help, down below you can have a link to book a call with us as well. We can set this up for you, completely done for you. And if not, you can just feel free to follow this guide, and hopefully it works really, really well for you, as it has for all the campaigns that we've launched so far.